Alright, just doing a video tonight to update the 406 project. I ended up getting a set of cylinder heads for it, so that project's going to be moving along. For those of you that don't know, put together a 406 short block. It's basically Eagle Forge crank, Howard's rods, Icon Forge pistons, 30 over 511 or 509 block. That's just the last three of the casting. So just a 4-bolt block. I think it's a 72 block. So stock block deal. 30 over, 406. Going to be a pump gas build, hydraulic roller, and have been holding off going any further until we got a set of cylinder heads. So this weekend I ended up picking these up. So this is a set of AFR 220s. It's perfect. It's the exact cylinder head I was planning on using. I thought about going with the 227s, but then you got to run the offset rockers, and I really didn't want to have to deal with that. So these 220s will work great for what we're going to do. The build plan, that like 10.25 to 1 compression, camshaft in the mid 230s on the intake, mid 240s on the exhaust, somewhere in the high 500s, low 600s lift. Probably about 110 to 112 lobe separation. Most likely a 110 though. Just a quick rundown of what I'm thinking. I've had this Victor Jr. intake for the project. Just started opening up the plenum on that the other night. I'm going to do quite a bit more on that. But the big news and the good news is I got these cylinder heads. These are used. Got them from a friend of mine. Basically, I know of a few little issues with them. I've got one of them completely ready to go in the box there. I went through that yesterday, lapped the valves in it, and just checked it over real well, looked over the guides, the seats, checked over the springs, checked the installed height, and just wanted to really go through them well. So that cylinder head's 100% ready to go over in the box there. This one is the next one I'm going to break down and go through. Check it over really well, lap the valves. Check the seat pressure, check the installed height of the springs, and the guides, valve seals, all that good stuff. But this one you can see I've circled is I either need to tap these holes or chase them, or what I'm most likely going to do is just chase them and then put this side of the cylinder head to the back of the engine. So this was the driver's side cylinder head. This now will be the passenger side cylinder head. Same deal with that one. We're just going to flip-flop them, obviously, because both cylinder heads, the front bolts are a little kind of jacked up on the thread department. It'd be easy enough to fix them, and I will chase the threads, but why not start with fresh when I just flip it to the back and we'll have brand new threads. So no biggie there. Got a pretty good deal on these cylinder heads. They're a couple years old, but virtually no miles on them. Honestly, probably like 1,000 to maybe 1,500 miles on these heads. Long story short, buddy had this on a 383 with either a Pro Charger or YSI, I don't remember which, but ended up hurting the crankshaft in the engine, decided to go LS, so got a pretty good deal on these, so that worked out perfect for everyone. In my opinion, these heads are about the best bang for your buck as far as a 23-degree cylinder head. You can pick these heads up for like $18.25-ish, right in there, new. And sometimes you can get them even cheaper, discount codes and stuff. But they flow. These are going to be rough numbers, so don't quote me on this. I want to say 312 at 600 on the intake and 210-ish, maybe 215-ish on the exhaust at 600. So some really good numbers, and you can get valve lifts up in 700. You just got to make sure you have your springs for it. So pretty good numbers for an out-of-the-box cylinder head. They are CNC ported. This just has the single pass on them. It's hard to get in there really well with the camera and the light combination here. But for a out-of-the-box unit, it's tough to beat these. And they do make them, so these are the race version. They make them in the competition version, which basically has a second CNC pass on the intake and exhaust runners to help smooth it out and basically open them up maybe a touch more, but it's really just smoothing them out. And you normally see roughly like 6 to 7 CFM increase on that, but it is like $400 or $500 more for that option. I've ran them with both. I had the 210s with the comp porting, and then the 220s with the standard, just identical to these actually, and then now I have another set of the 220s just with the standard race is what they call it for as far as the finish. These ones are the newer versions, so they have the 210 1.6, so it's a 210 intake valve and a 160 exhaust valve. The older versions I have a 208 and a 160. So that's kind of cool. Got an upgrade there, but I'm excited to break these things down, get them finished up, and we'll get moving on this 406 build. The engine build's shaping up to, the initial goal is to be like 550 horsepower on pump gas and over 500 foot-pounds of torque. Shaping up to point in the direction of more like 570 horsepower and over 500 foot-pounds. So we'll get some results on that as this project moves along. It's going to be kind of a slow building project. I'm not in a super big rush to get it done. Ultimately, it'll end up going in this car. We'll reveal that at a later date. But yeah, continue watching, guys, and I'm excited. We got some good news for this 406 project. Stick around.